Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back down under the mat. We're here to deliver you a special episode today, our SummerSlam predictions. This is Mr. Dan Danielson. I'm Rowdy Reece. The category that we have gone through with this SummerSlam prediction is we booked, or at least tried to book, every single title to be defended and then thrown on some other singles or tag matches or whatever you want to think about. Yeah. Some non-title matches.
So we're booking this obviously at the start of July. So
Yes.
we've got the two matches booked that we know from
Yes,
Night of
King and
Champions.
Queen of the Ring.
So we know we've got Tiffy versus Jade and we know we have CENA versus Cody. Between now and SummerSlam, we've still got a Saturday night's main event. We've
Evolution.
got Women's Evolution. We've got obviously 4 or 5 weeks of TV. And then after SummerSlam, you've got Clash in Paris, where we know the winner of the Women's Battle Royal.
At Evolution?
At Evolution, we'll
get
have
a
their title shot. So that then also aligns with how some of this booking works.
Yes,
so,
correct.
There's a lot of pay-per-views, a lot of stuff in between.
Too many pay-per-views.
But we've got a pretty good lay of the land. I think that coming out of WrestleMania, I don't think I could have predicted what SummerSlam would be. But I think with what we've seen recently on TV and the way they're booking stuff, we've probably got a good better idea. Obviously, this is the first 2-day SummerSlam as well.
Yep.
So we've gone off the premise. I think Santi did this a week or so ago as well on his videos, where he kind of based the numbers based off what WrestleMania is, which was 7 matches per night, give or take.
It's about 14 total.
So it'll be about 14 matches on it. Obviously, some things will fall to the SmackDown before or the Raw after.
Yeah.
But we'll try and book all the title matches and a few extras to make about 14 matches. I'm not going to tell you which one's night 1, which one's night 2. I don't
No.
Let's just pick what feuds we think gets to SummerSlam and then where we go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to kick it off with the Men's World Championships and then filter down to the Women's and then mid-cards, tag titles, and then etc. So kicking it off, Cody and CENA.
The double turn.
The double turn. Like, we're not going to talk about this too much because Dan's already predicted this several times on our show and really laid out.
Have you pinned the TikTok?
No, I haven't pinned it.
Can we pin the TikTok?
I'll
and
pin
the
it to our
Instagram
TikTok.
to the top, because I'm fairly confident that what we've talked about is going to happen. So you've seen with the Night of Champions stuff where Cody didn't hesitate to beat Randy with whacking him into the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
Slight heel tendencies. He took his back out. Slight heel tendencies. Cena starting to show slight face tendencies by not using the title belt.
He's facing the crowd when he leaves after winning a match.
Although he did end up, kicking,
attempting to kick Punk in the groin.
and the same with Truth. Both of those showed a chink in the armor of him being that heel.
Throwing the title out of the ring at Night of Champions. So.
I think that we're getting the double turn. We're getting WrestleMania 13.
It's lining up so perfectly.
We're getting Cena, who we want to cheer for him now. He did the pipe bomb promo and the crowd was cheering him. He even said, the mood is changing. We're getting
it. Just works. It just works.
Let's just do it.
So that's it. We're just going to leave it at that because we've already talked about it enough on prior podcasts as well.
But I just want to also maybe say to this too, based off what we've heard externally, is that, there's a probability of Roman showing up at SummerSlam, but also he is booked as, who's the dude in Mortal Kombat? Akuma. There's also a very strong rumor that Cody Rhodes is going to be booked as Guile in that movie as well.
I think...
Not Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter.
I think that'd mean Cody's losing, but also like Cody could just win and then start doing the Roman thing and not show up on TV.
Well, I think that this means
if this double turn does happen,
that Cody's going to go off to film a movie.
Yeah.
So I think that this
it could happen both ways.
And we also did count that when we did this a couple of weeks ago, we did our John Cena thing. There was like 6 or 7 shows that Cena has left outside of what he's already pre-booked for.
Yeah. And
so
if he's lost the title at SummerSlam to a heel Cody Rhodes, then those dates they seem more manageable.
Yes,
for Cena, because maybe he's going to try and fight back to get his 18th for the rest of the year,
and then put a real gap on everybody.
Yeah, 4 championships.
But that surely is your night 2 main event.
Absolutely. The Men's World Championship, currently held by the Ring General. Gunther. I'm going to kick this off because I feel like on our episode that came out earlier in the week, you pretty much debunked this theory, which was CM Punk versus Gunther And then you went on to say the fact that having Rollins tease another cash in to cost Punk after just doing it at Night of Champions is stupid and an absolute waste of Seth and his Money in the Bank contract. So I've not had time to think of another championship match to do in the time frame since Dan spoiled that. So I'm still going to stick with CM Punk and Gunther. Because after what happened on Monday Night Raw last week, I feel like they did some house show runs last year in 2024 together.
Yep.
And I feel like they're just
matches.
I feel like they're just waiting for the right time to run that back on national television and worldwide television, to be honest.
Yep.
So I'm just going to stick with it.
So I'm gonna expand on your prediction.
Oh, expand.
From the show that we had a couple of days ago, you obviously saw we talked a lot about how we feel like they're going to run back a bunch of stuff from Saturday night's main event Evolution into SummerSlam because they're only a couple of weeks apart. So I think where this leads is that you've only got a couple of weeks to put these sort of feuds together. You kind of need to tie together what's already happening. So I'm predicting, and I probably have predicted
Goldberg wins.
a few too many of these throughout my card, but I'm going to stick to it just because I think that I'm going to throw as much stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, good idea.
I'm going to predict Gunther to have beaten Goldberg.
Yeah.
Retaining
We all know
his
what's
title,
happening.
and he will face CM Punk at SummerSlam
But I hear there's a but coming.
and Seth Rollins
Okay, so you've gone for the...
and LA Knight. And I think that you're going to have all four of them.
Okay.
It gives... You're probably going to have shenanigans with B&B security at the Saturday night's main event with the LA Knight match. That probably won't be clean.
Yeah.
Punk will probably say that he wants the shot with Gunther now, but then Seth will say you don't deserve it. They'll fight, argue with each other. LA Knight will get involved with all of them. And then you know what? Just put all four of them in the match. And that way...
I think for that to happen, I reckon LA Knight needs to win at Saturday night's main event. Because then that'll factor in because he's beaten Seth. Seth wants to get the title, but LA Knight's like, no, you're not getting there before I do.
Yep,
So
back of the line.
works.
Yep.
Okay,
and you
works.
had that thing on Raw where Punk said, essentially when he pushed Gunther down, was like, stay out of my business. And then backstage, him and LA Knight, he was like, LA Knight was like, get to the back of the line. And Punk's like, no, there's no line.
That's much better. I just booked Seth and LA Knight to get run back for SummerSlam.
Well, and I think as much as we don't
Night
like fatal four-ways or multi-man matches and stuff,
I
a lot
feel
of
like that
people-
works, dude.
I think it does. I think all those characters tied together work. It's kind of like that Royal Rumble fatal four-way they had with Roman a couple of years ago where you just got everyone their spots.
Yeah.
And then Gunther can win. LA Knight can cop the pin, and you hurt Seth or Punk. You don't really hurt LA Knight because he's in a world title shot.
Yeah.
And he can be caught out by Seth, and like it
Man,
just all
when are they going to pull the
works.
trigger on him, eh?
Well, this is the thing. Like you've got to elevate him up into that world title scene. Can you just put him over Seth and Punk right now? No, you can't. You can't book that.
No, they haven't built him up enough.
But if he's in a fatal four-way,
And if he also has just recently pinned Seth Rollins as well,
Correct.
it's going to get everyone's hopes up too. I think that's a really good idea.
you're welcome, man.
Good work. Good
Thank
work.
you.
Let's move on to the other confirmed match for SummerSlam, Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. And I think, again, we're not going to talk on this too much because we predicted it several times and talked about it a lot on this podcast previously. Jade Cargill will get the victory and have those moments of happiness until she gets cashed in on by Naomi.
Yeah, and I 100% think that's going to happen. I just don't know what the catalyst is for Naomi to come out.
I think, given that they've now announced this no-hold-barred match for Evolution, I think Jade gets a dominant victory and we don't see Naomi on TV for weeks.
Yeah.
And then she,
Yeah,
after
that's
4
not my
weeks
point, though.
of being out of TV, she makes that return at SummerSlam.
But that's not my point. My point is you have a really good match between Tiffy and Jade,
Yeah.
right? And then Jade wins.
Yeah.
Why is that the moment to cash in? Other than spite,
Yeah.
you're not
that's
taking
it.
advantage. But then Naomi's going to come out, and even though Jade might have had a really good match or like she'd be worn out and oh my ribs hurt or whatever, she's not at like they always like to book their cash-ins when the champion is super weak. And there's been a beatdown or something has happened. I can't see Tiffany losing her title and then putting Jade through a table because she's angry. Like that's just not what Tiffy does.
No.
So does Nia or someone else get involved, puts Jade through a table and says it should have been me, and then she walks away and that's when Naomi comes out? Because otherwise, if Jade hits a Jaded, bang, 1, 2, 3, she's the champion,
I like
streamers
your-
are coming down, why would Naomi come out then? Doesn't
Your
make
Nia
sense.
comment checks out if she wins the Battle Royale at Evolution.
Okay.
Because that could work. Because then it's Nia and Jade, but then
But she doesn't want Jade. Okay, no, that makes sense. All right, cool. That
awesome. Done.
clarifies my logic for me. So
all right.
that is the same match I have.
Yeah, good. Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky is my pick for the women's world title. And if you watch the episode that we released this week, you'll know we're not too happy about Mummy being in the title picture so far, but I don't see anyone else coming up to Io's level to face her in the short amount of time that we have until SummerSlam. So my theory is that Io wins again at Evolution, and then we have Rhea snap.
Yep.
She beats down Io. We run it back at SummerSlam, the first ever 2-night SummerSlam event, and Rhea Ripley finally beats Io Sky. I don't want it to happen because I like the fact that Io's got something over Rhea, and I feel like they should continue that as long as they can.
So I've
But
taken the cheap way out.
look, I just think that's going to feed into my way too early prediction of Rhea walking into Crown Jewel and winning the Crown Jewel Championship. Kind of feeds into that.
They do the Crown Jewel Championship.
Well, they have already confirmed.
They have.
It's been part of the advertising for Crown Jewel.
Champion versus champion. Okay, cool. I agree with you that the match at Evolution, I think Io is still going to retain. I don't think Rhea wins that. I think you need to build the frustration for Rhea.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this a triple threat.
Are you going to put the tag team competitor Asuka in the match?
No. I am going to pick an up-and-comer who is going to win a number one contenders match some point between Raw, and Stephanie Vaquer is going to be in a match with Io and Rhea. And then again...
Oh, so Rhea's going to insert herself into the title picture again.
The same thing she did at WrestleMania. The same story with Bianca. But this time Rhea is going to win, and she will pin Stephanie. So she
still hasn't pinned Io Sky.
Correct.
Yes.
But
there we go.
She gets the title. She can go into Crown Jewel. Io can still have, you have never pinned me and never beaten me. So that when you run back, assumedly Io Rhea at Survivor Series or at Royal Rumble or somewhere where you run it again, you still have that story that Io keeps saying, you have not pinned me.
You've never pinned me. Love it. Absolutely love it. Let's shift down into the mid-card scene for the men and women. We'll kick it off with the women. I've got the United States Championship. And I think this is the real problem with the SmackDown women's division at the moment with the mid-card scene is 90% of them I don't care about, quite frankly, especially now that Julie is champion. I don't know who we're going to...
But you do know that BFAB has the longest legs in the business.
Good on her. Don't give a shit about Michin. I don't see Zelina facing Julia again anytime soon. What I would really love to do is have Julia versus Bianca at SummerSlam, but I don't know if Bianca's going to be fit.
No.
On my pick, Julia versus Asuka for the United States Championship.
It's on the wrong brand.
There's no brand split.
Brand split, LOL.
Yeah. LA Knight's fighting with Seth Rollins on Raw, yet technically he's a SmackDown superstar.
Okay.
So...
who did I pick?
Who gives a shit? I've also got Julia coming out on top because she needs
Julia winning. Julia has to.
She needs to retain it. I think she needs to go on a lengthy run.
Not a Gunther lengthy run, but give her a good few months. I agree.
Give her like 6 to 8 months or something.
I've got her against Nia Jax.
Yeah, I can see that.
Not too sure why, but mainly just as I need.
My problem is who else. Let's think, because I went and looked at the women's roster.
It's not Chelsea.
It's not going to be any of the Secret Hervers.
No.
I already said I don't give a shit about Michin. Zelina Vega shouldn't be back up in that title picture anytime soon. BFAB.
Give me Dakota Kai. No, I can't. Sorry.
Oh.
Shots fired.
It's a sensitive topic. She's still in NXT, as far as I'm concerned. I don't see that situation changing anytime soon. I feel like she's going to be the one to dethrone JCJ or it's Blake Monroe. One of the two.
And then beat Masher or whatever in the TNA merge title thing that they're doing.
Yeah, shit, we didn't talk about that on podcast this week, did we?
No, we didn't.
The title for title fight with Masher and JC or Jordan.
I wouldn't mind JC having that match, but I think it's going to be Masher and Jordan.
And then you have Jordan be double champ.
And then you get TNA getting Trick and Jordan back on their TVs.
Yeah.
And using WWE. I don't know how we went on that tangent, but
anyway.
Julia versus Nia Jax is the match I'm predicting, just to give Julia a really big, strong win. Because, like you said, the mid-card women's on SmackDown at the moment, he's kind of cannon fodder. Like there's no one super great, but if you give Julia a win over someone like Nia,
and especially now that they've got Charlotte and Alexa teaming,
Correct.
and
You take those
hopefully
two out,
at some point winning the women's tag titles,
yep,
they're out of the women's mid-card division as well.
yep,
So
agree.
all right, moving on to the Raw and the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Pending what happens on Monday Night Raw this week, because this has been recorded pre-Monday Night Raw. As of yet, it is not confirmed for Evolution, Becky versus Lyra versus Bayley. That's what I'm going with for SummerSlam. But if they run it at Evolution, they're just going to run it back at SummerSlam because it's like 3 weeks away.
Well, I think that they're going to have to do something silly because the double pin off the
double
German
pin was
suplex on
stupid,
Raw
dude.
was terrible.
Stupid.
So I feel like they're going to do something else dumb at Evolution.
Yeah.
That'll cause a no
What a
contest,
cop-out,
or like there'll be a because it's a triple. We assume they're going to book this triple threat,
Yeah.
which means
Oh, it's
Becky
gotta
can
happen.
then hit him with a title belt and run off or something and do heel things, and Bayley will say, "I should have won, but I didn't get my
Should have
chance."
been
And
me.
Lyra says, "Oh, I should have won, but I never got my chance." Blah 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 blah. And then
I'm waiting
run
for
back.
one of them, Bayley or Lyra. I'm waiting for one of them to turn heel and start siding with Becky for no reason. I don't know why. I just keep expecting it to happen.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
You'd see Becky and Bayley against Alexa and Charlotte.
Pin this comment too.
It can
what
happen.
happened.
But yeah, I think it's a triple threat. I think you run back
Yeah.
the triple threat at SummerSlam.
I think we both got that. So let's move on to the men's mid-card championship scene. Dominic versus AJ Styles is currently not scheduled for Saturday night's main event, pending Dom's doctor's note and his injury.
Yep.
SummerSlam's an easy bet for that. And I think maybe AJ wins.
Nah. I think Dom retains. I think they're going to keep the titles on the Judgment Day for a while. I think that they're having them all belted up will probably be there until Liv's about to return. Yeah. That's when they start losing everything and then Liv comes
I don't know if I can believe Dom beating the phenomenal AJ Styles. Unless he
Dominic's the best Mysterio ever. and like the best
unless
luchador in the
he
world.
does not win clean.
When does he ever win clean?
I know, but you won the title clean.
Well, he won the title because Finn did all the hard work and then he snuck the pin. So
That-
if you want to
he
say
did.
that was the clean way, sure.
Also, huge shout out to AJ Styles. He's extended his contract for another 12 months, and
Yeah,
it looks
nice.
like he's going to be retiring next year, according to reports.
Look, if I'm AJ Styles and I'm getting towards the end of my career and I'm thinking, do I retire or not? I stay as far away from John Cena's retirement year as physically possible because anybody else that wants to do a retirement or anything right now, you're getting overshadowed.
Yeah.
Just put another 12 months. It's
Yeah.
the right choice.
Yeah, good idea. Moving on to the United States Championship. Again, currently not confirmed as of this recording that Solo versus Jacob will be taking place at Saturday night's main event. That's what I booked for SummerSlam.
I have booked Solo versus Jacob versus
Jimmy.
Put Big Jim in there. I think that
So he didn't get in where he fit in. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
I can't do that for shit.
All brakes, no gas with it. Well, it's the other way around. All gas, no brakes with it.
Oh, gas, no brakes with it.
I just think that they're going to want to expand out the storyline a little bit to include the rest of it with the bloodline thing. I don't think we're ready for Solo or Jacob to start feuding with others. Like, your Andrades, your Carmelos.
No,
your
I
Miz,
think they still have
whatever.
a lot of unfinished business as of now. So
And I think if you, again, the same idea as you have with the women's intercontinental, you make it a triple threat. Anything can happen. You've got JC Mateo, you've got Hikuleo, you've got maybe even Jay, whoever, coming in and out and causing shenanigans in this match to get Solo to sneak his win out.
yeah,
Because if it's a straight up one-on-one match, then I find it hard to justify Solo beating Jacob. Because the only way he got the title was with all the shenanigans of everybody else.
and bloodline, man.
Yep, bloodline rules.
Nothing happens until someone interferes. All right, cool. I think that cements that. I think that's a good choice getting Jimmy on the card like that. So, thumbs up from my
Do you
perspective.
think, and I mean, I don't know,
Well, we don't know what yet to come, but we don't have his brother Jay on the card yet.
do we think SummerSlam, do we see The Rock at any point this year?
No.
Do we see Roman Reigns?
I think Roman, like the rumors are coming out that it's either Saturday night's main event or SummerSlam that he's returning.
He's
but
not going to Saturday night's main event. Are you honestly think they're going to try and like book him against All In? Is the Roman return? If you were booking Roman returning to TV, I would pre-show and pre-tell everybody, hey, Roman Reigns is going to show up Saturday night.
That's
Don't
the rumor
watch
that's
the other
going
show.
around. Everyone's going to be expecting it, so they're going to tune in because Roman's going to come back tonight. Isn't he?
Yeah, okay.
I honestly think that Roman can happily stay off TV for the rest of the year, and the storylines won't be impacted too much.
Does Roman come back for Cody and the WWE title that was his? Does he come back in the Bloodline stuff with Solo and Jacob?
I think Bloodline stuff's done.
Or does he come back for Seth?
I think that's the most logical step so far, and it's got to be after Seth gets the title, after his cash in.
Okay.
Because as far as I'm concerned, Roman and his Bloodline saga is done. It's done.
Because his last match was WrestleMania, right?
Yes,
with
correct.
Punk and Seth stomping his head in. And like that
and
was
Paul leaving him. So that's the logical tangent to go off when Roman returns.
Yep. Okay.
Why get involved? Like everyone predicting like a Bloodline War Games match again this year for
they have announced
Series.
it is War Games, right?
Well, it's all the advertisement is there. I don't think it's labelled as Survivor Series War Games
I'm
yet.
pretty sure they have.
Okay.
Pretty sure they have.
But yeah, everyone predicting the Bloodline stuff again. Like, let it die, guys. Let it die.
No, it's easily being set up as Team Seth versus Team Punk.
Yeah.
That's your War Games match.
Team Seth with heel Sami Zayn.
Should we do? Predicting Survivor Series way too soon? We'll
probably.
do that next
Probably.
year. All right.
That'll be fun. All right, that's the mid-card championship scene done. Let's move on to the tag team divisions. Kicking it off with the women, Roxanne and Raquel retaining at Evolution and facing Charlotte and Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam. I couldn't think of anything better to have.
That's exactly what I've got.
Yeah. I feel like now that we've got the odd couple tag team going, they won their match to qualify for Evolution. I feel like Roxanne and Raquel need to retain the championships because as we discussed offline earlier in the week, you can't have them just lose the championships now that Roxanne stepped in because that's going to feed in too well with the return story for Liv. They need to lose those tag titles closer to when Liv's returning so then they can play off that story. So I've got them coming out potentially victorious against Charlotte and Alexa.
So I've just cooked this up right now. Thank you for putting all this in my mind.
Go.
Really appreciate it. So I think at Evolution, you're going to have the Kabuki Warriors lose.
Bukkake Warriors.
Boy, hey. You're going to have the Judgment Day
Turn
win.
it off, kids. Turn it off.
You're going to have Alexa and Charlotte lose and the NXT team, they're all going to lose. So Judgment Day is going to retain. SummerSlam is in New Jersey. Liv's hometown. Liv is injured.
Yes.
Last year's SummerSlam was the turn for Dominic Mysterio on Rhea Ripley to side with Liv.
Oh, you're going to have Dom go with Roxanne, aren't you? Oh, no.
There's two stories I can see happening here.
But you put Liv in the front row to witness it all.
Liv will be there.
But
Liv
Dom doesn't know.
That Liv's there.
Yeah, and he just does it. And then the camera pans to Liv Morgan and she's just like, you can just see she's shattered.
That's a better story than what I was pitching. I was going to pitch that Liv was going to come out to try and help the Judgment Day win, but actually cost them, and then Alexa and Charlotte win it.
Okay.
And then
I don't mind that.
But then you have the shoe on the other foot where Roxanne wants to kick Liv out of Judgment Day because she cost Roxanne her title.
Yeah.
Rather than the other way around. That could work, but I actually really like the idea of Dom. I did not factor Dom into the women's match, and I think that he comes out to help them.
I literally just cooked it up right now.
He helps them win, and then they do their big celebration, and Roxanne kisses him in the ring and Liv's there.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
don't
that's
show
great.
Liv on the TV before. Like Dom runs out, and it's only once it happens
Then you
that
see
the
Liv in
camera
crowd.
pans around. Yeah, sees Liv, and then Dom notices that Liv's there, and he's just like, "It wasn't me. I didn't do anything."
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Love a good bit of drama in your TV.
Do you know what would be even funnier than that?
That's spicy.
Do you know what would be even funnier than that? Right, and the camera pans in, close shot on Liv, and she's just shocked and oh my god. And you go back to Dom, and he's like, no. And then the camera pans out, and sitting next to Liv is Rhea.
Oh, no fucking way that's happening.
And then Liv and Rhea become your next women's tag team champions.
People are already theorizing that. I've already seen people theorizing that Rhea and Liv are going to team once Liv comes back. But no. Mark your calendars, folks. Saudi Arabia Royal Rumble next year. Your winners are going to be Liv Morgan and Sami Zayn.
I'm not against that.
Pencil it in, folks. No,
So
put
on
it
this-
in permanent marker.
On our SummerSlam predictions video, you've now got the War Games match from Survivor Series coming up and the Royal Rumble winners.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
What more content do you want from us?
Let's talk about the men's tag team championships. I'm going to kick it off with SmackDown because we've got a much better tag team scene on SmackDown than we do on Monday Night Raw, and I had trouble booking Monday Night Raw because they can get stuffed. Street Profits defending their championships because the White Six did not beat them because they were interrupted by the other tag teams on SmackDown. So Street Profits versus DIY versus the White Six versus Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah.
No disqualifications.
Versus Fraxium versus Andrade and Rey Fenix in a ladder match. I've gone to
Okay. I didn't want to just run the ladder match back that they did post Mania. So I thought I'd just have it be a no DQ match and just absolute mayhem. Tornado rules, anything goes. Just
if you want,
go ham.
Do TLC, go ham. I think everybody learned that at WrestleMania, when they didn't put that match on the card and they put that on the SmackDown after,
Yeah, 5 stars.
it was a 5-star match. It was the best match of the weekend. It was better than most things on WrestleMania. I think Triple H is going to be like, well, we probably should have put that on the big card.
So then they'll put it on the big
This
card.
time it's going to go on the big card. Give them ladders, give them a TLC, let all 6 teams go absolutely bonkers.
I don't think the White Six would win.
No.
I don't know what they're going to do with titles.
I don't think it kind of suit them.
It kind of runs back to the whole scenario when Bray was still around in The Fiend and having a title didn't really suit the character, you know? It's kind of like the whole Undertaker trope. He never really needed the title.
Yep, absolutely.
The title needed him and his rub.
And the marquee match was the Undertaker. It wasn't the WWE title.
Yeah.
It was the Undertaker match.
The Undertaker and the streak at WrestleMania.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would pick.
Well, if you go with your 6 teams and having
maybe
Fraxium,
Fraxium.
dude. Yeah, I'd give Fraxium the rub there.
Yeah. Because I still think that Andrade Phoenix is still the short-term solution until you get the Lucha Bros together.
It's just so weird, watching Penner in a tag match with Sammy last week. And
Andrade
then,
with Ray.
Yeah, just give us the Lucha Brothers, please. By WrestleMania 42, give us the Lucha Brothers. Moving on to the Raw Tag Team Championships, I kind of had one thing booked and then I was like, I don't want to see Judgment Day versus
The Boo Day. Because that's what I booked.
LWO. I booked JD versus LWO and I was like, that's shit. I need to get other people on this card. So I've got Judgment Day versus Jey Uso and Sami Zayn versus B&B Security, Bronson and Braun.
I have Judgment Day versus The New Day, but I also have this on the Raw, not on SummerSlam. So when we were saying that all the titles aren't going to be on the actual pay-per-view, this is the one that does not make SummerSlam for me.
Yeah, I would say probably the same thing with my match as well, regardless. But I just don't...
Spoiler alert for me, one of the matches I actually predicted separately to the main card, non-title, was Jey Uso and Sami Zayn versus Bronson Reed and Braun.
Okay. I'll just work that into the title match.
You just went to the title, correct.
I think Judgment Day retains. I think they do. I think Jay and Sammy and B&B Security.
You listen to Finn, you win.
Yeah. Finn it to win it. I'm still proud of that one.
Because I think that the way the Judgment Day works is you unravel it backwards to how you got there, right? So I think the first ones to drop the titles are going to be Roxy and Raquel, and that's going to be because of Liv or because of Dom or something along those lines. They're first to drop it. Then Dom drops his title, and then Finn is like, well, if you guys had listened, you could have kept your title like I did, and he will be the last one to lose the tag title.
Yes.
So... but I think give the Judgment Day a couple of months with all the belts where, we were sick of it a few years ago, but now there's not a lot else on Raw.
Slightly different. I like having JD McDonough as a champion. Dude deserves it, man. He's an absolute workhorse.
They are a really good tag team.
Yeah. All right. That's all the championships for SummerSlam. Booked. You heard it here first, down under the mat. Let's get on to some singles matches. I'm just going to get this one out of the way first because I liked your idea better. I booked Seth and LA Knight to be in a singles match and not included in the world title match.
Okay, yeah.
But I like your idea better.
Thank you.
So we'll just run with that. I'll brush that aside.
I do have a lot of multi-man matches, but I think this might be the...
I've only got one other match booked, which is Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre, continuing on from Saturday night's main event.
I have that match booked as well.
I don't really... now that I've got Jay and Sammy and B&B Security in the tag title match, like you've just said that's one of your non-title matches on the
Correct.
card. What else have you got?
Well, I tried to think about other people that didn't have matches, and I couldn't find stuff for everything, right? So there's
I tried to think about that in a way of like who's regularly featured on TV right now and should be on the SummerSlam
You're missing
card.
a very clear match that they are setting up for this, and it's Aleister Black versus Damian Priest.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about
They
that.
are very much setting up that match, and I think that is a SummerSlam match.
Yeah, because they're doing Truth versus Black on SmackDown this week.
Are they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they said on SmackDown last week.
I don't have anything for Truth. So he wasn't picked. I didn't have anything for The Miz and Carmelo. I didn't have anything.
They're not
for
really doing
Rey
much with them at the moment
Mysterio.
anyway.
Nothing for Alpha, LWO. Like there's a bunch of things I just didn't book. But
Yeah.
the
Well, you
Priest
can't have
and
everyone
Black,
on the card. This is an AEW. You can't have everyone on the card in a 16-man tag match.
I mean, you could.
You could.
They had
could.
8 people in a tag match on SmackDown. You just double that with other people.
It's
and
too many. It's too many.
You could have all of the
16-man tag match. It's too many.
Yeah, probably. Do you
I
know
liked the
16
way...
men?
Like, what? Is it adult? Like,
Yeah, it's like if I said, I'm going to go get 7 of my mates and you go get 7 of your mates, do you reckon we could, like... I don't think we could. To, like, legit...
yeah, maybe.
This Saturday...
I don't know if they'd all say yes.
This Saturday, let's go play footy at a park. You bring 7 of your mates.
Oh, playing football. I'd like to play football. I don't think my mates would, though.
So, yeah, I've got the Damian Priest Aleister Black match. I've got Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton match. The last match that I've got on here, because I don't currently have Penta booked.
Yeah, I think it's a little criminal that I haven't put him on the card.
So I think Penta's on the card. And I'm trying to think who to put Penta in.
Put him in with Dom and AJ.
Do you know who I've put him in? I actually did originally. He was there. And I was like, no, I've got way too many triple.
It's honestly like penciling him in there, just it doesn't make sense. It's not part of the story at the moment. So
I've gone something that also doesn't make sense. It doesn't have a story at the moment. But
Penta versus Phoenix.
But just sign me up for this match because I think this would be fantastic.
Penta versus El Grande Americano.
Penta versus Logan Paul.
Oh. Yeah, what the hell's Logan Paul doing right now, dude?
I don't know if he's off because of just having... did he have his baby recently or he's just doing like podcast stuff? I don't know.
I don't know.
But like, I feel like SummerSlam coming around is the time that
he's got to
knock. Hi, Logan Paul, can I have a match, please? It's in New York. It's a massive 2-day event.
Yeah.
I think him and Penta would be brilliant to watch.
That would be a fun match.
Because
I feel like we give Logan Paul a lot of praise. A lot of people give him a lot of flack. I feel like Penta can carry him to a good match.
Yep.
Sign me up.
And that could just be one of those super fun matches that's just like just on the card. Just go have fun.
Yeah.
You got 15 minutes. Do what you want. And also to think of whatever kind of spot Logan would have with a drone or something in that stadium in New York. Like
the drone shots are so good. You gotta love it.
But could you imagine like a drone? Oh, just imagine a drone spot of a Mexican destroyer. this drone just going around in circles.
Oh, just like repeated destroyers.
Yeah.
Oh,
like 2 of them in a row. Just keep flipping around. They'll do it. Yeah. That's my bonus match
Done.
for SummerSlam.
Done. Sign me up. Do we want to recap?
Sure, you can roll through it quickly.
All right. Cody versus Cena with Cody coming out on top.
Double turn Cody heel winning.
Punk versus Gunther versus Seth with
versus LA Knight.
With Gunther coming out on top.
Yes, Gunther retaining.
Tiffany versus Jade coming out on top. Naomi cashing in.
Correct.
Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky
versus
Stephanie Vicker. Rhea Ripley coming out on top.
Yes.
Solo.
Do you prefer that option so that Rhea wins the title but doesn't pin Io?
Yes, I like it because it keeps the never pin Io streak alive.
Perfect. Good, right?
It's much better than just my singles match. Solo versus Jacob versus Jimmy with Solo coming out on top.
I think Solo retains.
Yeah, I think
Jacob
give him a good 6 months as champion. I think he's put in enough work as the post Bloodline, post Roman character that he deserves to have a good championship run. Julia versus Asuka for me, which kind of cannon fodder. Julia versus Nia Jax. Both cannon fodder. Julia's retaining anyway. Dom versus AJ. Dom retaining.
Dom. Yep.
Becky versus Bayley versus Lyra. I don't think we picked a winner for this, but I feel like Becky should keep it.
I think Becky keeps it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it to go to Bayley, but it depends on how much you want to keep running.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
I'm starting to get to the point where I think WWE's got too many titles now. We like to shit on AEW for it, but I think they've now got more titles than AEW.
Well, yeah.
If we take Ring of Honor out of the equation.
And you're also cutting down your...
Plus, you've got your speed championships.
And you've cut down SmackDown back to 2 hours. You've got Raw back down. I mean,
it's getting too much.
There are a lot of pay-per-views.
I think one mid-card for both divisions. One men's, one women. But then also people are going to get credit. No, the United States Championship has so much heritage. No, and Continental Championship has so much heritage. You can't get rid of them.
The problem you got is that...
The United Intercontinental Championship.
You're not having a brand split, though. Like...
Yeah.
I get that each of the networks say, I want a title on my show to be defended, but when they're not, they're intertwined.
It's very cluttering. Roxanne and Raquel versus Alexa and Charlotte, with Charlotte and Alexa not winning, right?
I have the
Raquel,
Judgment Day
retaining.
Well, I had Judgment Day losing because of Liv.
Yes, that's right.
And you have...
And then Dom.
The brilliant Dom turn. So...
Genius.
Whatever happens, I want that to just be like cinema. Just
we've got the SmackDown tag titles, which you've got Fraxium winning.
Yes. And you'll just add Fraxium into your match, right?
Yeah, sure, why not? Judgment Day versus Sammy and Jay versus B&B Security. I've got Judgment Day coming out on top. Keep their titles.
Who wins if you don't have them in that match? Who wins between Sammy and Jay and B&B? Like
Jay and Sammy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Baby
I think
face
you
pops, man. You got to give them something to keep them going.
You've also got to put some threat against Bronson and Braun. They can't.
They beat Sammy and Penta on Raw.
Yeah, I know, but like you can't build them up as this unstoppable force for Seth and then have them lose all the time. I mean, in the bigger matches, but
Solo was the enforcer of the bloodline, and he lost so many times.
Only after that first run, when Cody first versed him before 39, like Solo wasn't beaten.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Other marquee matches: Randy versus Drew. We didn't even predict a winner for this one.
Well, I think there's some form of shocking finish.
I think Drew to feed into a feud with Cody.
Yes, I agree.
And
but
then
Drew's not really a face. If we're turning Cody,
then fucking have Randy win. I don't know.
I'd like to see the Cody.
I didn't
Randy
think
feud
far enough ahead about this shit.
I like to see the Cody and Randy feud actually take that could be your Survivor Series match.
Yeah.
Like you build them up over 2 or 3 months where you get the feud happening.
Yep.
And if Cody's the heel, he keeps avoiding the match with Randy because I don't want. And so then you can have Cody versus Drew, and you have Randy face someone else, and then eventually you get back to the two of them.
Yep. All right. Awesome. That's it. That wraps it up.
And Logan Paul's beating Penta.
Oh yeah. Oh, beating Penta. Ooh. Ready to make the IWC extremely angry. Well, as always, Dan.
Do you know why? That's because Logan Paul has no fear.
Zero miedo.
Don't hate me, please.
Thank you for tuning in. This has been our SummerSlam predictions. About 3.5, 4 weeks out from SummerSlam. We've got a few confirmed matches, a few very likely matches leading on from Evolution and Saturday Night's main event. And a few really interesting matches.
I'm really interested to see how it goes for 2 days.
Yeah.
We've kind of built up WrestleMania, and I think most people now have the logic of WrestleMania weekend and how big that is.
It's now going to be SummerSlam weekend.
Yeah, I want to see how it looks.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I've already taken the Monday off so we can watch it live.
I need to go put in my annual leave. Thanks for doing that.
I actually put in leave for it. I'm taking flex to play Destiny when that expansion comes out.
Of course you are, you nerd.
Yeah. Well, I play with my brothers, and we just take time off every time an expansion comes out, and we just sit there and game together for a few days.
Fantastic.
Good family bonding.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in. This has been Mr. Dan Danielson. I've been Roddy Reece. We've been predicting SummerSlam, and we will see you next time down under the mat. Too sweet.